Silver and gold.
Wow, Jason's gonna be so happy to watch this.
The Gold Cup. This is where my life needs to be. The men's and women's Canadian national team is beyond. I can talk about Man United and whatever and Rangers and this and European championship. Nothing excites us. I'll say us as we're like a pair here more for me. Like this is it. I love this, and I want to talk about the Gold Cup roster.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'll echo that. Big time, like European sport, soccer, homer, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. And just Canada has me bought right into this crest of like what a generation that's coming through, like just this roster alone got me excited again. I'm like, who's that? And he's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Like it's insane.
Yeah, and that's the fun part of this is a lot of the people who will watch this will be people like us who stayed up till 1:30 in the morning to watch us lose against Australia in that penalty shootout. It's the guys who've suffered and women who've suffered over the years watching this team to see this now, like to see this roster and be like, we can win the Gold Cup. I think like that's madness to even be able. So with that said, I'm going to throw the three keepers to you. We'll go by positions. We'll get through this, and just talk about it real quick. But Maxime Crepeau, Dane St. Clair, and Jason Lutweiler. Um, I'll say probably, and I'll throw it to you here. This keeper crop without Borjan makes me smidgenly nervous.
Yeah, I am. And who's the third guy? I don't know him that well.
See, Lutweiler to me is such a wild card. He's 32, but he's been in England pretty much his whole career. He played with, most recently, he was Blackburn, but backup. And then he went to Huddersfield for 6 months, backup, like one or zero appearances. Like he's always floated in and around these League Ones, championship backup. And he's a big, strong, like good keeper. And it's killing me. But I looked and he just signed for Oldham in League Two. So finally he's gotten over this. I'm going to go back up this at bigger clubs. Go to Oldham in League Two and play 38 games. So anyway, he's an interesting one to look at.
I guess keepers over 30 have a bit longer than an outfield player, so I should put that piece of my hat on. If I'm Herdman, he's probably trying to make sure he wins, of course, or do as good as he can. I was surprised Pantemis didn't get the third keeper spot maybe. And who's that kid at Vancouver who was playing for a little bit? He's from like Saskatchewan.
Hassal, yeah, Thomas Hassal. He's not even on the radar for the Whitecaps, so it's
okay. So he's kind of fallen off entirely. Anyways, Pantemis, I thought might have got the third shot after the Olympics, and I thought he did well, even though he let in that poor goal at the end. But other than that, it's not a surprise, I would say. And Borjan is clearly the top keeper in the program right now.
Yeah, St. Clair worries me too. I mean, he was having like the greatest year last year, but he's lost his place in Minnesota now. And Crepeau is, I mean, he's good, but the Whitecaps stink. So it's like, I don't know if you're a keeper and you get a ton of shots a game, you're going to look good and make some good saves. I don't know. I just don't know. The keepers worry me.
Yeah, they do. They do. There's no like commanding keeper is what we're looking for here.
Yeah. So, you know what? It'd be a great battle between these three. And I hope the best player from camp wins it. That would be the coolest, like if a Lutweiler wins it all of a sudden, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a cool story, but let's jump to, I'm assuming we're going to go with like the three at the back kind of same system. So I'll just run the center backs. We got Scott Kennedy back, which I'm so happy. Daniil Henry's back. Steven Vittoria. We got Kamal Miller back, which is brilliant. And then Johnston as well. I'm considering him a center back in that back three now, even though he's a right back. So those are the center backs. What three would you like out of those?
I'm a big Johnston fan. I just feel like he's like a guy that I'm maybe even overvaluing because I have this affinity for him. I just love him. I could see him playing wing back as well. So would I start him? I would start him. And I think I feel like Herdman feels the same, and he starts him where he sees he needs. So if you're asking me to pick the three, like I don't know, he's like 3 or 3 substitute. Victoria, I think you got to start. Kennedy, I think, was amazing.
Yeah.
And then who's that leaving me with?
And
Daniil
then you got
Henry.
Kamal Miller and Daniil Henry on the bench.
I'd go Daniil, and I'd love to see Kamal get game time though for sure. None of them
Yeah.
scare me. None of them make me feel like there's a mistake in them right away. Some of them don't fill me with Van Dyke confidence, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I think they're all solid, good players. Kennedy and Johnson though really impressed me over the last little while.
Yeah, I'd love to see those two start because again, you go with the young, give them experience, these younger guys, and Vittoria in the middle between those two, helping
Yeah,
them out, and then Daniil Henry can come in, and Kamal Miller. If it wasn't for that injury, he would have been a part of those World Cup.
yeah,
I mean, those five center backs that we're using, like, can
exactly.
you believe this? Like 4 years ago, we're like, we have not one center back playing
Yeah,
for Canada in the
yeah,
whole world.
I know it's
So this
crazy.
is a good problem to have. So I'll
Oh,
look at
well,
now
quickly
the
though, quickly, I would say again, going back to the Olympics, I thought maybe Cornelius would have got a chance. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's what's going on. I would have maybe had
yeah.
him.
Yeah, funny is you mentioned that because I was trying to research that before, like, because I watched the Whitecaps game last night, wasn't on the bench, wasn't anywhere. And I'm like, either he's really lost favor all over the place or he's carrying a knock, which I would assume he's injured.
Yeah, I can't see him of having lost favor that quickly. I thought he was one of the best players in that Olympic qualifying, so I figured that would maybe springboard him a little for opportunities, not to start or anything. He's got a battle there, but
Yeah,
just for opportunities.
for sure. For sure. So now we'll go with like the kind of wing back people. I don't know. It's like, are they wingers? Are they fullbacks? I don't think
Whatever.
attack. I don't know. Who knows? But so I wrote four, but there's probably five. Anyway, Alfonso Davies is going to start on the left wing back. That's the whole reason we're playing this system, is so that he's not too deep at
Pigeonhole.
left back and he can attack. So he'll start on the left no matter what.
Yeah.
And then we've got Corbianu. I think, see, that's where, is he going to play in those wingback roles or are they going to throw him up front as more of like a striker? So that was kind of where,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. You got Richie Larea, who to me I would say was an automatic starter at right wingback. But with Paton Buchanan, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Buchanan scored again on the weekend. Like,
Yeah.
this kid is going to be in Europe in less than 6 months.
Wow. Wow. Is
Crazy.
that's your so I would let's talk Davies. You have to start him, of course, the whole thing. I'm actually surprised he's in the squad. We talked a little bit about this, you and I. Like obviously, I'm gonna trust Herdman. I do. We're big fans of him for sure. I am surprised and just I don't know. My like spidey senses are just why is he there? Like
I know.
people are gonna be like, well, of course he is our best player. We want to win, and then like I get it. I totally get it. But we said it, I think, on our last show. You've got like you got 3 games a month for the next year almost with Canada, and you got to get him back from Munich during season for those things.
Yeah.
Why isn't he on a boat somewhere right now, tweeting and TikToking and having a good time, and then just rolling into Munich camp where they can just ease him into fitness and sort of rest them? And I
Yeah.
think it's a mistake. I'll go on record as saying I think it's a mistake. If I'm Munich, I'd be watching this saying, holy cow, he's had a lot of momentum. He had an okay year for his standards last year. You want him
Yeah.
bouncing back big time this year. I don't want it to derail his Munich career in any way, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest. And then I'm like a Canadian homer, so I don't agree with it. I would have just said, look, we'll see you at the qualifying.
Yeah. I know. Me too. It scares me. Again, I'm gonna be that guy now. Every game, just the second we go up by more than one goal in any game, I'm gonna be shouting at the TV, just take him off.
And
Like
even if people say like, well, he wants to be there, that's
it's not his
amazing.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
like,
also like do the best thing for him. And why
yeah.
are you not having him there? And that's hard to say. I'd start Larea. I'd let him play through his form. But Buchanan is just sniffing at the door, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's like here's this guy again that I've heard of, and he just keeps doing well. And now I'm like, he might be in Europe next. Like
Yeah.
it's so exciting. It's so
Yeah.
exciting.
It really is. And then we've got three in the center midfield. I'll kind of lump them all together, but we've got three of the holding midfield per se. You got Eustachio, he's going to be there for the next 15 years. You've got Piet, and you've got, for me, one of the most underrated players, and I know Herdman loves this guy, Liam Fraser. I know Herdman's been calling him into teams since before he even broke through with TFC, essentially. And I mean, TFC loaned him to Columbus. Now the TFC coach got fired. Can they call him? Like, that was a mistake. Fraser's an absolute quality young player. So anyway, those are the three holding midfields. And then the more higher up the field midfielders, we've got Mark Anthony Kaye, Osorio, and newcomer. I don't know. Would you say Paton or Paton?
I'd say Paton, but that's just because I think of like that general for the US.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Paton off Steve's
Peyton's got a
recommendation.
Y in my name, Pay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Paton.
Okay. So I guess three will start from there. What three would you go with?
Stacchio for sure.
Yeah.
Mark Anthony Kaye for sure. I probably got to go Pyatt. I'm not the biggest fan. Good,
Yeah.
solid, serviceable type guy. He reminds me, this is the worst call for like, this is really going snobby, but he reminds me of like Jay Spearing, who played for Liverpool and then so
true.
it's just like,
And then he went to
okay,
Bolton.
yeah,
That guy.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. He works hard, but I've just never really been a fan.
Yeah.
So I go with him just because Fraser's not done enough yet for me, even though he's promising.
But you'd think Herdman would play Osorio, right? Like he's like seems like a shoe in no matter what happens.
Yeah, then you know what? I totally forgot about Osorio. So I go Osorio, Kaye, and Eustachio.
Yeah, that I think will be the three. I'd love to see Paton come in as much as possible. I mean, he played 35 games in the Scottish Premier League, and I mean, from what we've seen of Witherspoon, I mean, if you're playing that many games, you've got to be a quality player.
I'm ecstatic.
I'd love to see Fraser play too.
I'm ecstatic with this Paton guy. Like, not gonna say I knew much. I started looking into him, researching. He was at Steinhousemuir.
Yeah, Stenhousemuir.
Yeah. For like a year and a half, played like 40, 45 games, scored goals. Like, so a little bit of a like pull for the show there. And I just want to see him. I want him to get in there and get a chance to know what he's all about. And I love, again, that Herdman's just unearthing these guys and tracking them and making sure, they're part of it.
For sure. I love that. And now we'll go with the strikers or forwards or whatever people call them now. I guess we throw Corbianu into that mix, which would give us, 6 options for the 2 spots up there. You've got Kyle Larin, who seems, I mean, he's going to play.
Of course.
You've got Cavallini, who, you never know. I don't know. You got Junior Hoylett in the squad, which we thought would never happen being unattached, which is interesting. You've got Tyler Pasher, who could also be a winger. That's the other one. Like he's playing out wide now, but when you're playing with 5 at the back, you can't have your attacking winger. Anyway, So he's there. And then the new guy, Akinola from TFC, he chose Canada over the US. For those who haven't heard, it was a battle to get him, and he chose Canada. So those are the 6 players. I mean, who would you play and why?
I would play to start Cavallini and Larin. I feel like Cavallini was like this monster guy we needed, and now he's fallen down because of the depth, but he's still a quality player. I don't think
I'm going to jump in, throw you that, because I'm glad you brought that up, because he's got, for Canada, 16 goals in 22 games. That's a good, that's not a good, that's a fantastic rate.
Yeah, I think like he's like almost being written off in a sense. Maybe that's too strong a word, but it's like, well, we got Larin and we got David, and like forget him, but you can't forget him.
Yeah.
Keep him in there, play him in this Gold Cup, get him lots of minutes, let him feel part of it. Anybody who scored that many goals in that many games for Canada should continue to get selected. He's doing his job. I'm super excited for Corbianu. I want to get him in, whether it's up front, somewhere off the bench. I want to get him some minutes in this tournament. I think you probably have had some discussions with Hoylett about playing him, so he's in the shop window. Yeah. So you're going to have to get him in as well. And then just to go back to Pasher, whether it's a wider up front, I think you've got to, like, if you're bringing him, you got to test him.
Yeah.
I think you got to cap the other guy. I think you just got to cap him
for sure.
Even
if it's the last 8 seconds of the last game,
just get him in, get him a cap, and then play him in the last group game for at least 45 minutes to get him another one. Like I know maybe they're gonna start him. I have no idea. Anyways, I go Larin and Cavallini as my starters.
Yeah, me too. I would do that too. I mean, I love Cavallini. I don't know. I just love him. He's just something about him. He's just a monster. Yeah, and yeah. So that'll be interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting for Herdman because there's options everywhere. You're going to disappoint people, and that's finally a good problem for us to have.
Such
So
good.
I'm gonna rip through some players that didn't make it, and we'll talk about those quickly. And Pantemis, you already mentioned, which I was, and if Lutweiler is going to be there as the third keeper, I'm wondering why, it's not the other way around. But again, I'm not Herdman, and I'm not where he is because I'm sitting here. Jay Chapman. I don't know if you've been following your Inter Miami team,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he's playing almost every week, starting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he should have been
Oh,
called up, but I said, it would have been kind of neat for a
100%.
guy like that to get a reward for battling for so long.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
100%.
you nailed Cornelius again. He was on my list, so he's got to be injured. You've got Stirring, that Dutch center back that we've been calling up all these places. Maybe Herdman's realized maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. I mean, we've got 5 center backs here and he didn't
Yeah.
get in. Or maybe it's a deal with his club. I don't know, but
Right.
he's not there.
No.
Atakubi, I know he's not there because he just moved clubs. He just made a big transfer, and Herdman is so smart with this, like where he's like, you have a new coach, you're moving to a new club,
Go get
go
it.
and establish that. Don't be away. Don't have to be special when you come back. And I find that
Yeah.
that
And
to
I
me
like
is
that guy
genius.
a lot.
And the Liam Miller from Liverpool, same thing. He moved to Basel,
Hmm.
and same thing. He's like, I'm sure Miller would be here if it wasn't for that. Which again, genius on his part.
Great
John
club to
David,
go to.
sorry,
Great.
go
I
ahead.
think that's a great step in his career. Like he didn't crack Liverpool. He played
Totally.
the game. Did well at Charlton. Could have probably stayed there, I guess. I don't know whatever happened if there was the budget or not. But Basel's a
Yeah.
good place, a good level, and it's better than Charlton in my mind. I
Well,
think it's a
for
good place
sure.
to be.
Yeah, you could go and drop to Charlton or League One, League Two, whatever, or you can go to Basel and play in the Europa League, or
Exactly.
play in Europe. Like
Yep. Yep. Love it
that's a big step for him. I'm happy for him. I really like that. Hutchison's getting rested, I'm sure.
for sure.
Uh, Witherspoon,
Mm.
I'm angry that he's not. How perfect would he have been at like the top of this midfield diamond?
I actually think he could have been a bit of a leader for this tournament. So, I don't know what's going on there. And we have no inside knowledge, having had an interview with him or whatever. But I was looking forward to see if he could have kind of almost run the team a little bit. So,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
shame.
Arfield, from the reports that have come out, he was going to come. He was interested in coming. He wanted to come back. He wants to come back, but he picked up a little injury in the first couple of days of preseason with Rangers. So apparently, he's going to be available in September. So
I know you're a
that's
Rangers guy and like you love him, and I'm no doubting his quality. It just makes me mad. Like as a
I
Canadian,
know.
like I feel like you're a bit of an excuse maker for him because you love him so
Yeah,
much. But
100%.
I feel
Yeah.
like if he was on like Celtic, you'd be like, get rid of him if he doesn't want
Yeah.
to play for Canada.
100.
Too much depth.
Yeah,
You know?
so true.
You see, but like,
It's so true.
are we still at that? Are we at that stage yet where we could say get rid of Arfield? Probably
No.
not.
He's so good. Like he's so good, man. Oh, you can't. Yeah. And if he wants to be there now, and he had a bit of a sulk at one, but so did Hoylett, and he's back in there now. And whatever. I love him. He's so good. The last 2 names I'm going to bring up before we let everybody go is Jebison for Sheffield United,
Yeah.
and Flores, that kid from Arsenal who's Mexican Canadian. Apparently, again, reports that Herdman said both conversations were amazing. Both are still considering Canada, so that's good news.
I think it's good that it's like now I'm into like college football recruiting mode, and like Herdman could be in that level too. Like
Yeah,
he's recruiting them. That's what it is. It's a process, wine and dine, do what you got to
yeah,
do, tell them this and that. I think Jebison, there's no chance for him for a while. I think he's going to flirt with England for a long time here, especially because he was riding his like end of season premiership, so he's flying.
yeah.
The Mexican, how do you say his last name?
Flores.
Flores.
Yeah,
It's tough to get Mexican guys out of Mexico. I think the US have done a fantastic job doing those pulled on dual
yeah,
nationalities over the last few years. I think Herdman's getting in here with his first real battle in one of these situations, which we might not have as many as the US, of course. Just
yeah,
to be in the convo still is credit to him.
yeah.
to get him into this tournament would have shocked me. But just do what you got to do. Stay in there and keep pushing to get him in the squad. But two
Yep.
exciting talents. If you brought them in, Jesus, like wow.
Yeah.
With Corbiano, imagine the front three of those Corbiano and those two.
Jeez, man. And like, and then what do you do with everyone? Like,
Right.
it's almost like you play like a 1-1-8, you know, like that's how good we're attacking soon.
Yeah.
But this squad has 14 players with 10 caps or less, which is pretty interesting. That's an interesting stat I found anyway. We're young, and I would love to go on and win it. There's no more let's get out of the group or oh scary. I mean, I look at the US roster and it's mostly MLS guys. I'm not afraid of them. We shouldn't be afraid of them at all. They're average, and I haven't seen the Mexico roster, but we should try to win this.
Yeah, like they should be going for a deep run. They should be minimum out of the group at this point.
Oh,
If they falter after that, I mean, I'm not going to be gutted, but they're in a really intriguing team. And once again, I'm just left excited and I want to see it. And that's such a good thing because I will admit, as a proud Canadian, that there was times where I was just not interested in the national team, and I'd watch it, but I didn't have that same like, oh, this is exciting me.
yeah.
I'm excited to see Paton and Pasher. I just want to see those two guys in a Canadian shirt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm super pumped. So anyway, the games are the 11th, July 11th, July 15th, July 18th, all on One Soccer. There's no super late night ones, which is good for old men like me who go to bed super early. So check that out. Get One Soccer and watch these games. It can only do good for the national team.
That's
Get
right.
One Soccer, watch these games. So
That's right.
the 11th of July, the 15th, the 18th, and yeah, watch. And I'm gonna say a quick shout out because we'll have a show before, maybe a preview of the Olympic women, but they play right after. So you got the men, the 11th, the 15th, the 18th. The women play July 21st, July 24th, July 27th, which is madness. 3 days in between three games. That's got to be so hard. But anyway, so that's when they play, and we'll come back with an Olympic preview in a couple of weeks. So enjoy the games.
See ya.